So here you go. These are the 4 potential rewards. I'm going to explain what the general format is. Remember, it's generic. It's pretty good. Here's the generic formula. That's what they want with doctors. They want doctors that know how to know this, know how to explain it, know how to document. Okay, but this totally shifts the mentality of the chiropractor, because it's like a never-ending argument that I just keep beating the drum. I'm like, no, you don't care. Now, I don't mean to say you don't care, The injury award has nothing to do with you. You can't control a damn thing about the injury to that patient. The only thing you can do is document what they do or do not have, and never attach yourself to that patient. And so you want to attach yourself to the documentation, not the patient. Whether he has it or not, fine. If he has it, fine. If he doesn't, fine. That's not what's going to matter to me to get referrals. What matters to me is I can explain whether it's a strong or weak case and how this particular case is relevant to it. Now, let me give you an example. I don't know if you remember, John, but when that attorney that called you that was a little bit away and he was looking for a chiropractor in your area, he had a patient, and then you kind of went and talked to him. Do you remember what he said to you about your knowledge of the documentation and the injury award process?
Yeah, he was blown away by it.
What was more important? That he knew that you knew how to put the documentation together relative to the injury award, or that he had a strong case? Which one was more important to him?
He was more concerned with the process and the fact that we knew how to dissect it and to document it and to elaborate or be able to articulate it. So they know that not every case is going to be a home run, but they'd rather us be able to articulate to them whether or not they're going to invest any time, or
Right.
if it's one to move on from.
I still remember that, because I remember when I was talking to you about that, I remember you told me that's what he said. And I go, that's exactly the message you wanted to get across.
Right.
That you knew your stuff, irregardless of the positive findings of that patient. And that's exactly what that attorney said to Dr. John.
I just had another one. I just had a presentation, Paul. I was going to talk to you offline, but went through the financial drivers, went through the 7, what you just did there. And he asked me, he said, well, how do I get patients to you? Right. And I said, well, here's my contact. And he said, well, can I tell my current clients to stop treating where they're treating and go see you now? So it resonates with these attorneys, because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. And by the way, what's the answer to that?
I said, I'd prefer, we're going to have a long relationship. I said, if you want me to take a look at the cases, I'd be happy to take a look at them. But there's 2 ways to have the biggest building in town. You either build the biggest building or you tear others down. I said, I choose to build my buildings. And he looked at me and he said, wow, that's an honest answer. And I appreciate that. I don't want to poach other people's existing.
Yeah, but that was not the answer that served the attorney the most.
Well, I told him I'd be there to look at the cases if he had any questions.
That's the answer.
No, that's the answer.
The answer was that you would be able to consult and support those cases on what they do or don't have.
Correct.
Yeah. And by the way, you already know he wants to send them to you now because he already knows you know a lot more than them, doesn't he? Or he wouldn't have said.
Correct.
He wouldn't even have said that, John.
Oh, I agree.
But that's what happens anyway. That's exactly what happens anyway, is they just take them away because they just know that guy's screwing me up. And they go over here. And to be honest with you, there's nothing you really can do about it. When attorneys did that with me, was it my fault? Was it my fault that I educated the attorney and they got more value from me than the sucker they were dealing with? Was that my fault, or was that the sucker they were dealing with?
Yeah, that's the other chiro's fault for sure.
It's not my fault. I'm not poaching, John.
Yeah.
You can't poach if you suck.
Should be a t-shirt.
Right. That's like, I say this all the time with employees. We steal employees, but it's a euphemism. So you can't steal an employee that's happy where they're at.
Right.
Same with patient. If that attorney's happy with what he's getting, you're not going to be able to take him anyway. It's how much more value you can bring to the case relative to what they're getting. And that's called market forces, supply and demand, baby. So I wouldn't have worried about that at all. I'm like, well, that's up to you. I'll be, but you already know what's going to happen. You go ahead and consult on that and you point out everything that's not being done. What's he going to do? What's that?
Exactly.
He's going to send them over there anyway because he's tired of getting screwed. Is that your fault? That you're
No.
better, you're more knowledgeable? You're a better communicator? Hell no, it's not your fault. That's his fault. It's the doctor's fault for not having the knowledge or skill to give a valuable service for that attorney and that patient. And so he should get the results of that. The patient taken from him.